Hi, welcome to Get a Clue, Casual Gamer, where we get a clue, C-L-U-E, about a game. And oh, I'm a little off center. Oof, don't knock that over. It literally is on the floor, all the way down there. Okay, so normally my videos about one game will include components, length of play, uniqueness, and how easy is it to learn to each play, find, and on your pocketbook. But today we're continuing my top 100 games and of all time, and we're going to be looking at my 90 to 81. Now, I did mention at the beginning of my 100 to 91 that I am not doing this whole pulling up a box out of where it's stored to show you the cover and all that. Not happening. But since this is the second section, 90 to 81, I decided I would do one added thing from the previous list, 91 to 100. I pulled up pictures from Board Game Geek so I can show you at least one picture, in some cases two, of each of the games I'm talking about, so you can at least see a little bit of what the components are like. And I'm just starting here, and I realize that I've already got the hiccups, kind of like those, the hidden hiccups that, they haven't come all out yet. So wish me luck. Okay, so my list, 90 to 81, let's get started right away. 90 is a game called Don't Mess with Cthulhu. And it's an extremely chancy game. You don't know who to trust, because people will have a combination of either rock, Cthulhu, or this, I don't know what it's called, symbol. And somebody is going to be the bad guy. It's slightly social seduction, but really not. Somebody's going to pick up a card and see that they're the bad guy and everyone else is a good guy. And or there might be more than one, now that I think of it. I can't remember. Anyway, you all get like 4 cards, and they're all face down. You've seen what they are, and you say something like, I have 2 good cards. So and no bad cards. I don't have Cthulhu. I don't have Cthulhu. You might be lying, but it's like, nope, I have 2 good cards, so you could come to me and take a chance. I don't have Cthulhu. So yeah. And when it's a person's turn, they choose somebody around the table, and they go, say, show me that one. And you point to a specific card, and they'll flip it over. If it's a rock, you stop, and it's the next person's turn. If it's one of these symbols, then yay, because the good side is trying to get a certain number of those flipped without flipping over the Cthulhu. There's only one Cthulhu, and then they can keep on going, and stop, and the next person's turn, or actually the person they chose, then they get to choose somebody and point to one and flip it over, and others can say, don't bother with me because I don't have anything good. They might be lying. They might be the bad guy and have 3 of the good stuff, but you don't know right away. And that's basically the game of Don't Mess with Cthulhu. And my number 90. It came out in 2014, and last year it was my number 156. So it has jumped up from 156 to 90 this year. It was new to me last year. My number 89. My number 89 is, let me go, there it is a game that came out in 2009. I kind of played it before I knew about it. I'll explain that in a minute. Last year it was my number 62, and the year before that it was my number 98. Now I know it was 98 back then 2 years ago because I didn't own it yet. Last year I owned the 6-person set, but now I own the 12-person set. It is number 89, and it is Telestrations. And this is kind of what the whole setup would look like. An example of what you do is each person will have their own little wipe-off pad, spiral bound thing, and you will write a phrase, a few-word phrase, like racing whatchamacallit, train, racing a train. And then the next person, you hand it over to the next person. They read what you wrote and go, okay, and they're supposed to draw it. And then they pass it to the next person, and they look at the drawing, and they are supposed to figure out what it's a drawing of. Got my hair cut yesterday. It's a little, whew. Anyway, so, and then it gets passed around until it gets back to the original person. If you're an artist, fine, take your time. Everyone else will be sitting there going, are you done yet? But you don't have to be a good artist. And this is an example of 3 different ways of illustrating the same thing. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. It looks like, one of them looks like a Chinese, a beautiful Chinese dress, and the other 2 look like a dress with flowers on it. There you go. That's like all these pictures that I got are, like I said, from Board Game Geek website. And so somebody put that up showing the difference between your level of artiste. But anyway, so that's the game. And then when it comes back to you, then each person in turn will start where they began and flip it as showing how it changes or doesn't change. It's hilarious. That's the funny part, is looking at these pictures going, how did you get that? Or, oh, I see where it messed up. Things like that. So yes, that is my number 89. Last year 62, year before 98, Telestrations. And I now have, it's over there behind this pile over here. And I have the 12-person one now. And I've given a story about that when I did a video on Telestrations. Okay, so my number 88 is new to me this year. So it wasn't on a previous list. It came out in 2022. And let me find the picture of it. It is, there it is. Yep. It is, oh no, wait a minute. Nope, not that one. There we go. That's the one. I almost showed you my 87. This is number 88. Get on Board. Get on Board is a re-implementation of Let's Make Bus Route, which was basically available in Japan. And it'd been on my wish list for a couple years, and I heard the rumor that they were coming out with a version for the Western world. So this is Get on Board, New York and London. And what they did was, originally it was a roll and write or flip and write, and instead of just writing, you now have this, you have this main board, which the Let's Make a Bus Route also did, but instead of writing on it, you have these little sticks, kind of like in Catan, you have the little road sticks or whatever, and you put your road sticks in your color on the central board. So yeah, that is Get on Board, and you're trying to avoid crossing with other people's paths. You're trying to pick up tourists and take them where they most want to go, and you get extra points. You pick up students and take them to the university, that kind of thing. You're trying to create these bus routes and call people to get on board. The one side, the New York side, I'm pretty sure it's the New York side, is for 2 to 3 players, and the London side is for 4 to 5 players. Pretty sure that's the way it is. Pretty sure. So anyway, so yes, that is get on board. I think try and get very little reflection on here. Get on board New York and London. That was my number 88. My number 87, yeah, there it is, was number 121 last year and was new for me the previous year, so I hadn't played it or I didn't own it yet. So last year it was 121. This year it's 87. I played it for the first time at Dice Tower Retreat in Miami, and it is called Overboss. Right there, Overboss. And basically you're going to be picking up one of the big tiles and one of the little tiles, just one of those sets, and placing them on your grid. This side of the board is a 4x4, and you're trying to get groupings together or matching a little one on top of the bigger one, so that if it's from the same terrain type thing, if the little monster is from the same terrain as your tile, you get extra points. And so yeah, it's basically a tile laying game. You choose, you place. Very quick, very easy. I mean, there's only 16 spots, so it's very easy and very quick. It's not a long game at all, and you know how much I like tile laying games. So Overboss, well, actually, it's got a big, long name. Overboss, the Boss Monster, or a Boss Monster, something like that. But it is my number 87 this year. Came out in 2021. Okay, my number 86. 86 is brand new this year. Came out in 2022, but I wasn't able to get it until this past year. And I'm not sure where I have put it right now. It is called Farmer's Market. Find the picture for it. There we go. Yeah. This is a close-up of some of the tiles for Farmer's Market. And this is a view of what the layout would be for each person. Okay? You're going to have 4x4 goals, and then you're going to fill in the columns and rows with food items, produce, or you know, cheese and eggs and milk and bread and corn, carrots. Yeah. So I'm just kind of like moving around looking at all the different things on here. But basically the outside ones are the goals. What are you going to, what kind of points are you going to get if you comply with the goal on that thing in that row or in that column? And yeah, for instance, like this one here, let me make it larger. Is basically you're going to get 9 points if you have specifically 11 items in this row. So right now there are 3 carrots and 3 other items. That's 6, and this is 9. So if you wanted to really get those 9 points, you need to put a little tile there that only has 2 items on it. No. Sorry, my dog is doing her little whiny thing. No. Wait. Okay? Good girl. Wait. She's the one who wanted me to run up here like 15 minutes ago, and now she wants to go and do something else. She's going to have to wait until I'm done with my list. So this is my number 86, brand new to me this year, and it made it into my top 100. It's a very simple game, yet the strategy of getting the right goals in the right place and then getting the right combinations to get the points, the most points for that row and that column. And that is Downtown Farmers Market. My number 85. I saw the picture there. There we go. My number 85. My number 85 was number 133 last year, And the previous year it was 56. So it's like all over the place. It's such an easy game to get to the table. Anyone can figure this out. I'm telling you, it is one of those, and it has this very bright presence on the table. And the game, that is my number 85, came out in 2010, but it also had a Kickstarter recently, a couple years ago, which is how it kind of like all of a sudden it's back around again. And the Kickstarter version and the modern version, the one that's out now, looks like this when it's set up on the table. And you see, you'll have these. There is an expansion now that will add some more to it, so you can also play up to 5 players instead of just 4. Each person will have their own goats, and at the bottom of each mountain you'll put one of your goats, and you have 4 dice. Sorry, 4 dice. Let me turn this, make it a little bit bigger. You have 4 dice, and you're going to roll the 4 dice, and you're going to split them however you want. It can be these 2 and these 2, or this 1 and these 2, or can we get 3, and however you want to make numbers in this 5 to 10, and then you move it up 1 for each time that number is on your die. You know, if you split it 5 and 7, you'll go up 1 on 5 and 1 on 7. And you just keep on doing that. When it's your turn, you just take turns doing this, and until you get to the top of the mountain. You know, you get to the top, and there are some little chipboard chips up there that give you points, and they keep on giving you points every time you're up there, and you also roll that number again, or that create that combination number again until somebody else's goat comes up and bumps your goat all the way to the bottom of the mountain again, and then you keep on starting, and the game continues until I think 3 or 4 of these are empty, and then then you score however many points you happen to have gotten. That's it. That's Mountain Goats. It is a very bright, colorful. Now those cards, these cards look so nice and little, but they're about this big each. So they take a table presence. But it's also, I say, if you have older elementary school kids, whatever, great math practice, splitting those the numbers on those dice to create, addition, and it's kind of like an easy way of doing a little bit of math with your game. So Mountain Goats is my number 85, halfway through. My number 84 is also brand new this year, and it's basically cards. It came out in 2022, and it looks kind of like this. It's called Old Wallpaper. Old Wallpaper. And each card has 4 different types of designs. Let me enlarge one so you can just see. See, this one has the green on one side, the red on this, and the yellow. And they've managed to match it up here and here. And they managed to match that up here on 3 sides. Woohoo! I mean, they're doing, but here they weren't able to match it, but they did match other 3 sides. So it's kind of like, that's what you're trying to do, is to match up, because you get more points the more of them you match. And it can be the same symbol but a different size. Let me see, because you can have this size, you can have that size. You can have this size, you can have that size. This size, that size. It needs to match the same size, not just the same symbol, but exactly the same size. And it just looks like really tacky old wallpaper. I mean, really, who would want all of that on your walls? Oh, I'm all about solid paint. But that is my number 84, Old Wallpaper. My number 83 has been around since 2014, and apparently when the year it came out, it made a big splash, I believe at Gen Con, and apparently a lot of people were playing it there, and it just, was a very popular game that year. And it was my 92 last year and 149 the previous year. It is 83 this year. So it went from 149, 92 to 83. And it is called Red 7. Bright colors, colorful, and just simple numbers, except you see that little writing on the edge? Those are different things that happen when you play that card, when you play that number, or color actually. Indigo, the most cards in a row, is the leader. If yellow is played, most of one color is the leader. Green, most even cards is the leader. And the red is the highest card is the leader. What happens in this game is somebody plays down a card. Let's say it's a red 6. Okay, so somebody else can play a red 7 or higher because it's a higher number. So now they're winning. But then the next person, they don't have any reds, but they have let's see, most even, let's say it was a red 6 and a red 7. Well, then they play a green 8. No, it's higher number, but also green is, they're winning if they have the most even numbers or whatever. Their number is higher, so it wins, but the next time around they could play a green 2, and that means they have 2 even numbers and other people only have 1 even number, so they're winning again. I'm making it sound much more complicated than it really is. Each color has one thing that it can do, and the goal of the game is to keep playing a card that will always make you the current winner of everything that's on the table. Once you get to a point that you cannot be a winner with any of the cards you have left in your hand, then you're out and they keep going. And I think it's until you get down to 1, but it happens really quickly at that point because everyone is down to just a few cards and might not be able to win. But then, so that's the game. That's how you play it. You just have a hand of cards, and you play them strategically in a way that when you play a card, it makes you the current winner. And that is red 7. My number 83. My number 82 I got for Christmas a couple years ago, 3 years ago now. It was my number 40 that first year, 36 last year. It has gone down in my list to 82 this time. Came out in 2015. But it's not that I don't like it, because I actually have it on my phone now that I can play it whenever. But I have so many games now that it just doesn't get to the table as often. I have played it with my mom. I have played it with sisters and friends and such. And it is called Holmes, Sherlock, and Mycroft. Holmes, Sherlock, and Mycroft. And basically there's a center board. Play goes for 7 days. There are 3 stationary assistants, and then you add a new assistant each day. And now the stationary assistants will always be available, but the daily ones, if everyone who's playing, it's a 2-player game. It's just 2-player game. Sorry, I didn't tell you that before. But if both of you use one of the daily characters on the same day, then when you're going into the next day, that character turns over because they have to rest for a day, and then they'll come back another day later. And each of these assistants gives you something that helps you play. One can give you 3 magnifying glasses. I think it's magnifying glasses. It's magnifying glasses that you get. there's down here. There's a little. It's kind of like a worker placement game because you've got these three workers, and when you choose where you want to place it, and you place it on that assistant's card, and you get whatever that assistant has to offer. And like I said, some will offer you actual what you call it, magnifying glasses. What some others will do is they will let you get 3 cards or two of any card for 3 magnifying glasses. And there's a row of cards up here, I believe 4 that is how many you put out. And what you're trying to do is collect these cards. That's the ultimate way of winning, is to collect a combination of these cards in a way that you have the most of a specific number. For instance, there are 9 nines in the game. So you want to get at least 5 of them so that you will have the most at the end of the game, and you will get you will get points for having the most, and you won't if you don't have the most. So that's it. That's Holmes. There's no deduction in it. It's just, it's just a painting. It's just a theme that really isn't used. It's not a deduction game at all. It's a collection, set collection game, and a worker placement. A worker placement set collection. And that's what it is. So and a simple one. So if you're looking into a simple worker placement and or a simple set collection, Holmes, Sherlock, and Mycroft is one for you. My 82. My last one in this list here, my number 81, came out in 2020. It's new for me this year. I didn't get it until this past year. And I have played it several times. Most recently, where was I? I've played it with siblings, but I think the most recent one I played was at Dice Tower Retreat. And it is Disney's Haunted Mansion. There we go. Disney's Haunted Mansion. The outside box looks kind of like that. And this is the components inside. Disney Haunted Mansion is a set collection game. You will have your little meeples, your people, on this circular thing, and then it can turn and can go into a room, dependent on what you're playing, and then you'll be collecting cards, and you get points dependent on what are the requirements to get points for that card. For instance, this one is ghosts. If you end up at the end of the game with 1 ghost card, you get 1 point. But if you have 4 ghost cards, you get 16 points. So it's the more you have, the exponentially more points. This one is worth 1 point, but for every card that you have that has this little shoe symbol on it, you'll get 2 points. So you're looking for that combination. Another one is, we'll say, draw a card when you collect this card. And so there's all different ones. This one says discard a card when you get this one, when you collect this card. Oops, sorry. So yes, it's basically a set collection. You're getting these cards that will do certain things and allow you to create collections of different cards for the maximum points possible. And that is Disney's Haunted Mansion, my number 81. And there you have it. Another 10 games in my top 100 of all time. And until next time, happy gaming, and God bless you and your family. Bye.